Hi guys, thanks for joining me for this video presentation into the alleged sarin attack of March 30th, 2017 on Al-Lataminah. Anyone who's been following the incident will be aware of several video reports that had come out of showing kind of chopped, disorganized, disorientated clips of the day. Um, and it was very confusing and something that I just looked over because I just took it at face value that these were news reports from an incident of some description that happened that day, and I didn't go looking for whether it was chopped up on purpose. Uh, but quite a few people had asked me if I could take a look at it, just to shorten down basically a couple of the requests. And I did. And I wrote a couple of detailed reports into the alleged 25th attack in March 2017 and the alleged 30th attack of March 2017 on my blog. And after the IIT report, I received some new information that pointed me in a different direction to where I needed to be looking. And in order for me to begin a new investigation, a new approach, first of all, what I needed to do was wipe the slate clean, go back to the FFM report, read again for the 100th time the official FFM report version of events of what happened on the 30th, and then to go back over the video footage and organise it. It needed to be organised into like a kind of a timeline from the earliest to the latest footage, and that way I could get a better idea of what is alleged to have happened that day. I did that, and this is what this video is. And as an executive summary before beginning, I will tell you that I had originally believed that it was recorded over different days. Not because I analysed that aspect of it, but I just believed that's what it was. It gives you that feeling, and quite a few people who I have spoken with believed the same. I lay it out, and the evidence will speak for itself that it all happened on the same day, same time period, probably over this I can only guess a few hours. Um, but it was on the one day. I don't know what day it was recorded. The video was published around 4 p.m. I think on the 30th of March on the YouTube. Are the earliest video? Apologies. So it could have been recorded on the 30th. I don't know. What's important here is that it was all recorded on the same day. Before proceeding, I just want to draw your attention to the official IIT report. And you'll see here, this section is referring to the incident in Al-Lataminah on the 30th of March. Sorry, it's the 30th of March 2017. If we scroll down slightly, there's a few points I want to draw your attention to. They talk about 4 munitions during the attack. 4. They talk about the IAT obtained video footage of an airstrike on Al-Lataminah at around 6 a.m. So around 6 a.m, 4 bombs. 6 a.m, 4 bombs. The IIT obtained video footage of the location confirmed to have been taken a few hours after the attack. Again, I'm just stressing because it's so easy to miss the detail on this. The IIT obtained video footage of the location confirmed to have been taken a few hours after the attack, matching the description of the area of the crater provided by witnesses as well as the process of sample collection. So the video footage that has been confirmed a few hours after the attack of the sample collection. 4 bombs, 6 a.m, sample collection a few hours later. What's a few hours? We're told 2. Let's say 3 for the sake of this. Now, what this report, the IIT report, also does is it points to the Independent International Commission of Inquiry on the Syrian Arab Republic. Kind of it describes itself as a kind of a human rights group with the UN, independent, vehemently anti-Syrian government. And a cursory impartial glance at any of their work will tell you that these are by no stretch of the imagination friends of the Syrian government or the Russian government. But the IIT points to their report to lend validity to a section of the report. And you will note here the little section number 100. And you come down here, you see the report in question. AHRC 3655, paragraph 69. Well, I went to take a look at that report. This just elongates this presentation, but I think that it's important for transparency. An evidence-based investigation has to be transparent. They talk about around 6:30 a.m. on the 30th of March. Now, the IIT said 6 on the 30th, 6 a.m. on the 30th. Around 6 a.m. they said. They're saying around 6:30. That discrepancy mightn't seem a lot, but it will for a future report when the IIT relies heavily on a video that was uploaded at 6:17 a.m. on the morning. If we go by this report, that video just wasn't of the same incident. But around 6:30 a.m. on the 30th of March, 5 days after the chlorine attack in Al-Lataminah hospital by the Syrian government, an unidentified warplane dropped 2 bombs in an agricultural field. 6:30, 2 bombs. IIT, 6, 4 bombs. Interviewees recalled how the first bomb made almost no sound. FFM, IIT, referred to the third bomb making almost no sound. Vital discrepancies, because if if the IIT want to lean on another organisation to lend its report substance, then it can't cherry pick the parts that it wants to lend substance. You either lean on a group to say, look, they're verifying our claims, or you don't. Because if the group is verifying one claim but contradicting the main context, which is the time and the number of bombs dropped, you're kind of invalidating yourself by pointing to them in the first place. That said, I wanted to point that out to you because I thought that was very important. There's just a big web the more you dig into this, and it's kind of like the media reporting a story and you try to find the source, and you then find out that the source was just like one person, but one newspaper reports the source as a confirmed source, and then before you know it, the third or fourth media report has it, a group of people said. I find that with the more I dig into especially Al-Lataminah, it's just a web, a very confusing web, but when you break it all down, it's actually quite simple. Back to the report. So here we are. The white HiAce is parked facing north. Out we get. Here we see 2 members of the White Helmet hazmat team being led in by 2 guys wearing black. I don't know if these guys are white helmets. I don't know if they're militants. I don't know if they're journalists. I have no idea. I would assume that given the fact that they're leading, they're not journalists. I don't know. I want to try to avoid sort of guessing. I don't know. I'm just going by the evidence, and I would imagine that these 2 guys wearing hazmat t-shirts, this guy in particular in the middle, who then goes on to don a hazmat costume, I would imagine that they would be the specialists. But these 2 guys become very significant in this investigation because, especially this guy with the boots, those boots are very sort of standout offish. This guy here has like a white collar, which you can't clearly see in this video. I'll detail it all in the report, but these 2 guys are playing the part of photographers. I don't know whether that's the right way to put it or not, but they become photographers, as we'll see. So they lead them into the field. This guy looks on the ground for something, doesn't see it, turns. Now, just for clarity, this is where they're parked. This is roughly where they're standing, where the wee yellow arrow is. Just here to the left, up to the left, is where the bomb is alleged to have dropped. If a chemical bomb, we're told that the bomb dropped, the IIT says that the chemical bomb dropped in and around about 6 a.m. It was posted on YouTube at 6:17 a.m. Syrian time that there was a chemical bomb dropped. These guys were told appeared a few hours later, looking for the chemical bomb, obviously. But if you read the IIT report and the FFM report, they talk, I think specifically the IIT report, talks about a white helmet arriving at the scene at 6:30 at the bomb scene. So it remains unclear how a white helmet can actually arrive at the bomb scene at 6:30 a.m. in the morning. These guys arrive a couple of hours later and can't find it. But let's assume it's genuine. Why would you go looking for a chemical bomb dressed like this? Doesn't make any sense. The next scene. They have now moved up. So the field was just to the right hand side. They've now moved up. They're parked at this black X. Here, the red, just to the right of this, immediately to the right, is the bomb crater. No problem to these guys. They're going to get changed right at the bomb crater. I'm just letting this play out. I actually dubbed the sound. Okay, this becomes important. This becomes very important. This guy here, you see him zipping up the guy in the green. Now, there's a lot of things wrong with this. This is the training level A suit. It's out of date and it's not fit for purpose. One of the world's leading suppliers, Lakeland EU, told me that when I presented them with this evidence, all detailed in my previous report on the blog. The gloves are damaged. So even as I was told, even if this was an up-to-date, sort of new, recently treated level A suit, this would deem it ineffective. Side points. Look at the firm grip with this guy's left hand. This zip's being tightened. Everyone see that this is clearly zipped. There's no pressure on it. The guy isn't a big guy. There's nothing pressing on it that would make it open. And he actually sticks the Velcro seal, like, all very clear. Now watch to see what happens next. He hits it a wee pat. It's all fixed, nice and tight. Yep. Now they're in the crater. Here's the suit opened. I'm just going to let it play a wee second or two longer. Better shot. There you go. Here's the suit opened. Velcro opened. One of two things. There is only two plausible explanations for this. One, he was genuinely zipped up, fastened, and the zip opened. Or two, this footage in particular was recorded of him being in the crater before he went over to the pickup where it was. He was then sealed properly. There can only be two. I was told by an expert who I can't name. So make of this what you will. That the oxygen didn't appear to be fitted. It didn't appear that he was actually able to breathe, and that this suit was open to allow oxygen in. Now, like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying what I was told. It's something to throw into the mix when you're trying to work out why, before he goes into the crater, he's zipped up, and then when he's in the crater, he's not zipped up. I'm not here to allude to anything other than what the evidence is showing us. At some stage, he was in that sarin crater, the alleged sarin crater, with his suit opened a few hours, we're told by the AIT, after the incident took place. Bear that in mind. This is important too. So much for the trying to keep this short. This sign, notice the discrepancy, slight damage. I don't know whether it's soil, just soil on it, or whether it's scraped. I've no idea, but it's distinctive from the other signs, and it's sitting here as they are gathering samples. Now something important happens here. They walk away from the crater, and this guy leading lifts that exact sign. Bit blurry. Anyone who's been on my Twitter feed will see that it's a lot clearer. It's the exact same sign. So he lifts it and takes him with him. Again, briefly, the official narrative is that there was farmers in this field. I just forget the name of the herb. We're supposed to be collecting a herb, and the idea is that the SARM attack affected them. But these guys go and they're collecting samples. A few points of importance. The signs are there to warn of danger. It's unclear why he put the sign there when he was collecting samples and then walked away with the sign. The only people here on scene at the moment seems to be White Helmets and friends. To take that away, then surely are they not taking away warning of a danger to maybe other farmers or whoever else might be in the field? Would you not imagine that you would leave the sign until it was safe to do so? But again, let's just say that that's an innocent mistake. In comes the infamous guy with the sandals. Again, a few points to mention. One, these guys are supposed to be there collecting samples. So you would imagine if there was anything of importance here, they'd have it in these cases. Two, the FFM noted that whilst these guys went and took some soil samples on the day, the 30th of March, that the FFM identified footage of remnants of ammunition that they wanted, that these guys left at the site. So they were sent back in July. This incident happened in March, allegedly, 30th of March. They were sent back around mid-July time to collect the samples. So if we take that at face value and we say, right, I don't know why a chemical sample unit wouldn't lift metal fragments that appeared to be possibly from a bomb, but let's say they didn't know. If they walked away leaving whatever it is, these samples, what was this guy taking a photograph of then? Okay, let's work with it and say he was just taking a photograph of the crater, because that is where the crater is, so he just was taking a photograph. But a chemical attack happened just a few hours before. So we're being told to believe that a chemical sample unit went out, took samples but left fragments of the bomb, walked off. This guy comes in a pair of sandals and takes photographs. This opens up the whole argument of SARM persistency, which I'll be addressing using American scientific and military papers. But in short, it all depends. SARM isn't persistent in the environment, and it's more persistent indoors than what it is outdoors. And as a vapor, it disperses quite quickly. But we are told that it was actually a black liquid on the 24th at Khan Sheikhoun, and on the 30th at Al-Lataminah. And the black liquid, if I could just very quickly, if I could just scoot back, see this blackening here of the vegetation. We're told that this was caused by black liquid. And the IIT report notes black liquid from an alleged crater that no one's ever seen on the 24th of March, and we're told black bubbling liquid, I think, and we're also told of black liquid at Al-Lataminah, or at Khan Sheikhoun. So liquid would last between 2 and 24 hours, depending on weather and depending on ground conditions. At the very, if we're told a couple of hours after the incident, let's put this 8-9 o'clock in the morning, and we're told that liquid sarin at the bare minimum can stay sort of 2 hours. The sarin persistency argument doesn't really hold water, because in July when the fragments were collected, they contained sarin. Now, was there enough sarin to kill someone 15 weeks later? Probably not. but it didn't test just for the degradation products. It tested positive. The samples tested positive for sarin, the active agent. So if it isn't persistent, if it's okay for a guy to walk up 2 or 3 hours later into the crater with a pair of sandals because it isn't persistent, then how did it persist for 15 weeks on metal fragments? Let's speed on with this, way over time. So off these guys trot, carrying the sign. He comes in, takes photographs, footage. I have slowed this down because my wee map pops up here. Yep. So this is where the alleged crater where they've just left. I believe they walked down, but that black X is roughly where they are at the moment. Again, I will be explaining that in a new report of how I reached that conclusion. I don't think that they got a lift or travel down by car, and I'll tell you why. Two things. This guy is still carrying the sarin sign at the same angle as what he was carrying it in the footage of him at the crater. This guy is still carrying the case in the same hand. I would imagine if you got a lift, you might have set the case down. Okay, case could be still lifted with the same hand, but I would imagine you would set the sign on your lap, set it on the floor, set it down the side of the door. But like, he's carrying the same orientation as what he was when he left the crater. It's not a big issue, but it's just to point out that this is the same day. This is the same recording. This isn't a different day. Both still wearing the same suits, 450 and 7975. Now, here they are going down to the bottom crater, here. Interestingly, this is where the FFM report claims that the victims, the victims of the 24th attack were found here. Not that anyone died, sorry, but the people who were affected here. But yet the attack happened away up north. Just again another discrepancy with the report. Now here comes this guy in the black with the bag leaning to the left like we've seen at the start, with these very noticeable desert boots on him. Now he's following behind, I believe, with the camera. Down at the crater here we see two guys in black. I can't zoom in because it distorts the image on the video. We see the two hazmat guys and we see two guys in the black. These are the two guys that we seen at the start. I'm going to just speed this up. Now we now see, this is me zooming in on the editing software, not the cameraman himself. So we now see these guys are now walking away. He stays. No idea why. He doesn't look to be holding the camera, but he stays at that spot. No need for hazmat gear with this guy. He's immune to it. These two guys walk off. Now you'll see like a road here. You see this road? Because as new footage comes in to play here, we'll see them. Now this remnant here I have thrown in randomly. The terrain matches that bottom crater. It may not be. No one knows what this is. The FFM ignored it. The IIT ignored it. Everybody ignores what this is, but yet it was presented as evidence of a chemical bomb. Take that as you will. Now we watch these two guys. That road that I pointed out, that wee slip road, we'll see it just up here, the top left corner. Isn't there a better shot of it? No. So now we're back at the crater. So they've left the bottom crater. They're now back up at the original crater. Here's the guy who, one of the hazmats, obviously, suit opened, right beside the crater, doing an interview. Just going to speed this up a wee bit. Now he goes over and he's getting his kit off. Like, there's the crater. Words do fail me. This other guy, he walks over to do an interview at it too. Hazard warning sign. Now that wasn't there in the previous interview. So someone has went over and stuck that there at some time. Because remember, the two white helmet guys lifted it to take it with them. So unless he was interviewed when they were doing the sampling, and if he was, why are they not in the footage? It's just, it's staged. This is all, what you're watching is all staged. This is not guesswork for me. I'm presenting it as I have found it. This is why it was chopped up for. Now look, more evidence. So as he's given an interview, this here that you can just see right in the middle, this is the alleged filler cap of the chemical munition that was used. This white helmet guy walks over right into the crater as the interview, bare hands, probably standing on a pair of boots. Look, I just ask you to even view this with an open mind, and I'm probably coming across as a bit biased because I've studied it for a long period of time, and sometimes you just gotta call bullshit on something. And I call bullshit on this. None of it makes sense. Absolutely none of it makes sense. Different angle. Burnt vegetation. Now there's the filler cap. Exact same filler cap. Lifted out of the crater and thrown there. Why didn't the white helmets lift that and put it in their case when they were at the scene? When they were there gathering samples, why is that not in the sample case? Why was that left for the cameras and then at the end just lifted and thrown? And incidentally, this piece and this piece both lay, according to the FFM, at this location until July. Another remnant, alleged remnant of a bomb left. Just, they're not a very good chemical sample unit. Brown bags, there's the filler cap again, look. Now he's now got the costume off him and he's now back to do another interview. At what point do you say to yourself it's not really a good idea to be doing an interview at a chemical sarin crater several hours after? It doesn't matter. The persistency argument is a cop-out. If sarin was not a threat, then it would mean that the Chemical Weapons Convention guidelines would state, if you think that a sarin attack happened a few hours ago, go out in your sandals. So it's a cop-out. You can hide behind it, but you can't then justify the fact, well, this was only a few hours later. You know, maybe the next day, maybe even later on in that evening. But a few hours after it happened, holding interviews right at the crater. I'm going to leave it at that. This has went on far too long. I leave that with you. Make of it what you will. Comments welcome. And thanks for listening.